spend our life searching for the sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Mic check.
The sun is shining and the anxious earth is rising.
Sorry, that was a little loud.
This time, please.
It's currently at T-minus 10 minutes.
All right.
Once we wrap up,
Oh, hey, Double Triple here.
Enable complete.
we're going to start that clock.
Double Triple doing NASA stuff here. All right, let me see if I can get this video up here for you guys. We're doing the this is Double Triple channel, streaming from New Hampshire, and trying to get the live feed from NASA.
Real time with telemetry lock on the Orion. It was transitory. It was very short. They checked the data, confirmed that they had a good lock. This was with the S-band transmitter on the Orion. Worked through that issue, looked at the data, and cleared it. All with the world watching. Impressive work by the launch team. So we have a 2-hour window, which starts in just a few minutes.
We got the audio. I'll get the video here in a second. I know I can do this.
Until 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time.
This is the Artemis launch to the moon.
Verification on the short purge. ECL copies.
Let's see
and for
here.
all personnel, once we get that short purge verification, we'll verify that we are clear to go, and then we'll proceed with the.
I promise we'll
count.
get this. I know we will.
ECL time estimate.
About a minute.
There we go.
Copy.
Damn it. I knew I could do it. There we go. All right. This is out of YouTube. So if you want to back up, you can go to YouTube NASA channel.
So we're going into the launch window.
Pretty easy to find.
But not by much, it looks like. Just wrapping up some final work. And once that's completed, you'll hear NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding ask for the ground launch sequencer operator to go ahead and start the clock. The ground launch sequencer is an application software. It runs on top of the launch control system in the firing room. Acts like a conductor of an orchestra, executing hundreds of commands in precise order and timing. It's all autonomous.
NTD CCL 212, short purge initiation is verified.
All right, copy that, and we're verifying our constraints. All right, and we're clear from cutouts. And with that, we're going to resume the clock momentarily. And CGLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
GLS copies. 3, 2, 1, mark. GLS mainline has been initiated.
T-minus 10 minutes and counting.
And that begins terminal count. Our new T0 is 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We are now counting down to liftoff of Artemis II. From now on, you're going to hear two voices on the loops. If everything goes nominally, NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding, who's directly managing the launch team, and Alex Bendelos, the GLS operator who closely monitors the software. He has the ability to stop and restart the countdown. A lot of people ask about whether there's a launch button. There certainly is
Houston
not.
Flight and Rock, our new T0 is 22:35:12.
Houston flight copies. 22:35:12.
Affirm.
There you heard confirmation of the exact T0, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Again, our T0 is 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. But as I was saying, there's no launch button. This is autonomous. But there is a button that keeps you from launching, and that button allows the GLS operator to pause the countdown outside of terminal count and during terminal count and submit a hold to the next holding point. So the clock won't stop right away. If there's an issue, we'll go to the next stable holding point. This is how GLS configures the rocket and ground systems to a stable point where they can stop the countdown if that's needed. But right now, we are counting down. Our next big milestone, looking to retract the crew access arm.
GLS is go for crew access arm retract.
And there you see the crew access arm moving away. That's the path that the astronauts took to ingress into the rocket. Until this point, that was their way off the pad if they needed to evacuate. But now with that arm retracting, the backup transitions to a launch abort system. And they'll begin arming that shortly. Of course, the launch abort system, great shot there of the crew access arm retracting away. The launch abort system is the tower at the top, and that's what would pull Orion and its crew off the top of the rocket in case of an emergency, whether it's on the ground or in flight. This is critical safety hardware that protects the lives of the astronauts.
Oh, it's not. Oh, why did you do that?
Starting at T-minus 6 minutes, the GLS will start bringing that and other high-energy systems online, starting with core stage pressurization.
Sorry.
Weather is 90% go. The range is go. All systems are go.
GLS is go for core stage tank pressurization.
Whoops.
That means the replenish valve for the liquid hydrogen tank has now closed.
That's okay.
And that tank is beginning to
We're still a
pressurize
go
to
here.
flight levels because that hydrogen is naturally boiling inside the tank.
We're still a go. That's we're go.
Get the liquid oxygen tank a
Shit.
little later in the count.
I lost it. Sorry.
Now the team is
We'll get
waiting
it
for
figured out.
verification that
Hang
if
on.
needed,
We'll get it.
the Artemis II crew could use the launch abort system to pull Orion safely off the top of the rocket in
We'll
an
get
emergency.
this figured out. Hang on. We get it.
Let's listen in
We
for
get
that
it.
call.
GLS verifies last capability available.
And CDR, do you copy?
CDR copies, last available.
That's great news, and you heard the
got
NTD verify that with the commander of the mission.
GLS is go for FTS arm.
Now work is being done to arm the flight termination system. This is so the range safety can send a flight
me,
termination
it's you.
command if the rocket flies too far off track.
Technical
There's a
difficulties.
breeze built
We're
into the
we're
way, so the launch abort system
we're ready
has
to
time
go.
Pull the astronauts to
GLS is
safety
go for
first.
LH2 high flow bleed check.
Oh my God. We'll get it figured out. Hang on just a second.
All right, the high flow bleed check. That's so the cryo team gets verification that the RS-25 engines, all 4 of them, are in the proper temperature range for launch.
We'll get this figured out. Hang on. You can go to NASA has a YouTube channel if you want to watch it. if you want to watch it without these screw ups here. Oh Jesus! Why is this not working?
GLS is go for core stage APU start.
Core stage APUs start. Those are auxiliary power units. High-speed turbines, which provide pressure to hydraulic pumps that steer the RS-25 engines. We're going to see a gimbal test a little
Hey,
later.
look at that.
T-minus 2
Okay.
minutes and 30
Just
seconds.
kidding.
This is
April
what allows
Fools.
that to happen.
All right, we got it.
Coming up in about 20 seconds, we're listening for go for purge sequence 4. That's a helium purge of the 4 core stage engines downstream of the propellant valve. This gets all the air and moisture out of there.
GLS is go for purge sequence 4.
Moving through the milestones. All is looking good. Coming up in just a few seconds, we're going to get that thrust vector control actuator test. This is a gimbaling of the engines. There are the 4 RS-25s, 3 of them Shuttle Heritage, 1 of them built from shuttle parts. And there you see them moving. Now we're going to start moving the power from both the upper stage and the lower stage of the rocket to internal, taking ground power away and now going to battery power.
GLS is go for upper stage to internal power.
All right, power is removed from the rocket's upper stage, the ICPS, and it's been switched to battery. Same milestone for the lower core stage coming up at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. Right now, the 4-person Artemis II crew is 248,000 miles away from the moon. And if all goes well, they will fly by it in 6 days.
GLS is go for core stage to internal power.
All right, there's the rocket's core stage, which houses 3 flight computers, is now on its own power. There's no more hold time because there's no more margin on these batteries. So we would have to recycle back to T-minus 10 to recharge if we had a hold.
One minute.
Right now, the rocket does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, control shifts from the ground launch sequencer to the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground. Now, shortly after liftoff, Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
GLS is go for ALS.
Great call out. The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate MECO. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on the 4 main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour. Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce de Leon.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour. Minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation, expected at the 2-minute 9-second mark. We see throttle down. Confirmed separation. Main engines throttling up, guidance converged.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Copy all, Stan.
Integrity, SM priming complete.
SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. Thrusters on Integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state, ahead of service module fairing separation. 3 minutes into the flight. Integrity, 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange, now passing 5,000 miles per hour. Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
Houston Integrity, good last jettison, great view.
Copy jettison, Team Eco 8+02.
We see the same on board, Stan.
And Houston has you loud and clear on Tidris at the Carmen line.
Outstanding, Stan, we have you the same.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the flight of Artemis II, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen cross the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison now working on internal checks to verify accuracy. Flight Dynamics Officer analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds, time of MECO.
Integrity, GPS processing.
Outstanding, Stan. We see the same, and we have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
Approaching 5 minutes into the flight, Commander Reed Wiseman confirms he has visuals of his destination. GPS guidance, navigation, and control software finishes internal checks and sends to navigation channels.
Integrity, 3 engine press.
3 engine press.
On time, now passing 5 minutes 20 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. At this point, 3 good main engines are all that's needed to carry Integrity to a nominal main engine cutoff target. Though at this time, we're seeing 4 good engines here in Mission Control Houston. Integrity, 75 miles in altitude, 330 miles downrange, approaching 10,000 miles per hour.
Integrity, looking good at 6 minutes.
Same on board, Stan.
Good trajectory and engine performance. Booster officer will soon report the shutdown plan to Flight Director Judd Friedling, expected at the 7-minute mark. Integrity, 78 miles in altitude, 460 miles downrange.
Integrity, expect nominal shutdown.
Integrity copies nominal shutdown.
Six minutes 40 seconds of mission elapsed time. Shutdown plan is as expected. Again, the time of MECO was confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds into the flight. Seven minutes of mission elapsed time. Throttling down as we approach the abort once around option. Milestone at the 7-minute 30-second mark. Now 84 miles in altitude, 650 miles downrange, traveling more than 15,000 miles per hour.
Integrity, AOA open.
AOA open.
The window is now open for an abort once around option that would target splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Still following nominal ascent at this time. About 10 seconds remaining until the main engine cutoff of the Space Launch System core stage. Standing by for confirmation of MECO and core stage separation.
Integrity and nominal MECO, core stage separated.
We see the same on board, Stan.
Eight minutes 40 seconds into the flight, we have a nominal main engine cutoff heading in the right trajectory on the way to swing around the moon. Core stage has separated, done its job. The Space Launch System upper stage, the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, or ICPS, still attached to the Orion spacecraft. Nine minutes of mission elapsed time. Integrity crew of Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen now in orbit around the Earth at the beginning of their journey to the moon.
Integrity Houston, looking ahead to PRM numbers so far per the pad.
Copy that, Stan. Numbers for the pad.
Capcom Stan Loves Now reminding the crew that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition is as expected prior to booster ignition. That time being 49 minutes, 50 seconds of mission elapsed time.
Integrity, good. Neds deploy.
Copy that, Stan. Good, Neds.
And Integrity Houston for PWD setup. Just a reminder, halfway open on the secondary.
We copy that, Stan. Halfway open.
Passing 11 minutes of mission elapsed time. Here, overhearing the conversation between Capcom Stan Love and Commander Reed Wiseman, already passing some milestones. We have a good nozzle extension deployment system. That is confirmed. Complete. We also have the visors are confirmed up. Now past the dynamic phase of flight, that is ascent. Their launch and entry suits that provided them an extra layer of protection. Now not as needed. They're going to raise those visors. And later in today's mission, they will begin to egress or get out of the suits to begin some of their initial tasks of activating some of the systems aboard in the Integrity spacecraft. It's passing 12 minutes of mission elapsed time. Again, the perigee raise maneuver that's targeted near 50 minutes of mission elapsed time, 49 minutes, 50 seconds. That's what the crew is going to be working towards. The Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover will focus on preparing for that milestone. In the meantime, mission specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen will start some of the activation of environmental control life support systems. You may hear confirmation of their activation over the Orion to Earth communication network.
Houston, C3 aux power back in auto.
Copy C3 aux, and we're 2 minutes to maneuver.
Minutes and 30 seconds of mission elapsed time. We're going to continue to follow the crew of the Artemis II mission. They are beginning their journey around the moon to verify the systems that will take us to its surface. An incredible ascent. Artemis II is underway. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen begin their journey to the moon. Still milestones to come up as we await solar array deploy and the critical burns that will get Integrity into high Earth orbit around the Earth before engines are fired to get us around the moon. We'll keep tabs on Integrity and its crew from here in Mission Control Houston. But for now, we're going to send it back to you, Megan and Nicole at the Kennedy Space Center. Very jealous to hear how the launch experience was over on the Space Coast.
Yeah, Gary, if people are just joining us, welcome back to the Space Coast, where we just saw Artemis II lift off 14 minutes ago. And wow, what an amazing launch, and an emotional one too. As soon as the rocket lifted off, Nicole, you had tears in your eyes, I had tears in my eyes, and we had all these people around us cheering. It was amazing.
Yeah, the energy was wonderful. I mean, it was a beautiful launch. We've got 4 friends and family members headed to the moon. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. How does that make you feel as someone who, is an astronaut as well, but also, as you said, friend?
Yeah, so proud of them. Man, we don't have the words in the English language to describe this kind of an event, and pride, love, so many emotions. They are truly breaking some barriers, and hopefully, as Gary just said, they've got a long day ahead of them, so wishing them well on everything, but so far, what a beautiful launch to watch.
Yeah, to be returning to the lunar orbit in more than 50 years. Maybe they go farther from Earth than any other humans before them. Maybe they see parts of the moon that we've never seen before. I mean, what a great start to what could be all of these milestones that we break in just a 10-day mission.
Yes, what a way to welcome in the Artemis generation.
Yeah, how do you feel? I mean, we saw some beautiful shots we were covering of course, the rocket, of course, the Earth falling away as we continued up into our ascents, but also some of those crowd shots where we saw young and old, just emotional, overcome by this history-making moment.
Man, we are going back to the moon for all, and we saw that today. We saw that in all the crowds. And yeah, you guys just saw that view, the sunrise or sunset, I guess. They just made it over the crest of the Earth, and you could see the sun peeking over. One of my favorite views from space. And I can't imagine what they're looking at now, and I can't wait to see what they're looking at in about 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are like, I'm surprised this launched on the first try, because we know, like any little thing, we have to be keeping safety in mind, and we want to make sure we're ready to go. But we were ready to go, and I think it surprised a lot of people. What a wonderful surprise on this Wednesday evening.
It did, and it kind of surprised me as well. But it's just a testament to the team here that has been working so hard on Artemis. Artemis 1, we learned a ton of lessons. We learned a ton from the wet dress for Artemis 2. We were able to go in, fix those things. We even had a couple mishaps today, not mishaps, but a couple, anomalies today that the team creatively came up with solutions for. It's just a testament to the teamwork that gets us to the moon.
And so we can continue to watch Christina, Reed, Victor, and Jeremy on their way now to the moon in Earth's orbit and awaiting the next in-flight milestones, deploying Orion's solar arrays. So why don't we get back in with the mission control and Gary.
Hey, thank you, Megan.
It's solar powered.
In the action. It is a long day. They have a number of procedures they need to get to immediately in their timeline.
And Integrity Houston, cross-tie is on board per the ETSI-DEM.
We copy Houston, thank you.
Cross-tie referring to flight controllers here initiating a connection between some of the batteries aboard the Orion spacecraft, allowing for an even distribution of power. This is the flight control teams that took us through ascent of the Artemis II mission today. Right now we're, as you see, passing 18 minutes of mission elapsed time. The Orion spacecraft integrity and the interim cryogenic propulsion system are maneuvering tail to sun. It is in this orientation, this attitude.
Integrity anywhere until that momentary prop caution.
And Reed, no action, we're looking at it.
Commander Reed Wiseman verifying what is being routed to his displays aboard integrity. Propulsion engineer confirming that no action is needed at this time. They're pressing through with their nominal procedures to prepare for the perigee raise maneuver. And of course the solar array wing deploy ahead of that. The solar wing deploy is a critical milestone. We'll continue to have our coverage follow the mission until that deployment. Successful launch is just the beginning. The deployment of the solar arrays and successful confirmation that those solar array wings are drawing power is a significant milestone, and says to the flight control teams that we will continue on today's mission. Power needs to be drawn to continue through some of the next milestones. Until then, the AOA open option that was called up upon ascent, the abort once around, is the current option, and abort to orbit option ATO will be switched to a preferred mode at the time that the solar array wings are deployed and latched. It gives the flight control teams a little bit more flexibility.
Integrity Houston, update on TDRS handover for your pad.
Give us just 1 minute. And Stan, you can read it. Ike is ready to copy.
Roger. TDRS handover east to west expected 1 second earlier at 5:1 minutes 26 seconds.
Hi, Stan. We copy 1 second earlier for 5126 TDRS east to west, and saws are starting to deploy. Thermal knives are firing.
We concur. Thanks for the report.
Read back of the reports that you just heard on the Orion to Earth network. Integrity has maneuvered tail to sun. The RL-10 nozzle on the end of the ICPS is pointed towards the sun, and the solar array deployment sequence has begun. With the deployment confirmed, it'll be several minutes until they are what is called in a latched position. Once they are latched and confirmed to be drawing power, they can switch the mode to ATO and continue along the mission. The teacher's handover at the pad, that message meant the crew was provided some preliminary numbers of when to expect handovers between the tracking and data relay satellites. Currently orbiting Earth at an altitude of 545 statute miles above the Earth, they are in a near-Earth network communication system. The tracking and data relay satellites, geosynchronous satellites that are stationed about 23,000 miles above the Earth. After the apogee rays burn, that occurs later today, the burn itself will put them in an altitude that surpasses the range of the tracking and data relay satellites, and they will transition to the deep space network today.
And Integrity, for prop messages, we see 2 temperature measurements right near the line. It's that momentary message you saw earlier. We're going to suppress those. It's CM helium heater 2 T1 and heater 1 T1. They're going suppressed.
Integrity, thank you. We see the same.
This is Mission Control Houston, passing 23 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. This is after a launch that began at 5:35 and 12 seconds Central Time, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Right now, the orientation you're seeing from our arrow visualization that translates some of the telemetry that we're getting from the spacecraft and puts it into a model so you can follow along on some of the milestones that we are following here. The RL-10 nozzle that you see at the left end of your screen, though it is currently not firing, that nozzle is pointed towards the sun, and the solar arrays are currently deploying. From this visualization, they look fully stowed in a position.
Integrity, we are happy to report that Jeremy has the O2 sensors on.
Copy O2 sensors.
Again, Commander Reed Wiseman and pilot Victor Glover overseeing the deployment of the solar arrays. And we'll follow the attitude maneuver changes ahead of the first burn of the ICPS engine, the perigee raise maneuver.
Integrity Houston, we see 4 saws deployed and latched, ready for ATO preferred.
almost there in the procedure stand, and we see the same thing.
And Integrity Houston, we are seeing a 7-second miscompare between the MET on Orion and ICPS. We'd like you to read us the MET from your center status bar and for the ICPS on StackSum.
And Stan, we see a absolutely precise alignment. MET 25, 14, 15, 16, precisely aligned with ICPS MET.
Copy, thank you for that. We'll investigate a ground issue.
And Houston Integrity, ATO preferred set.
Copy, ATO preferred.
I wonder if they feel acceleration while they're doing this. Because the rocket's burning, but they're not really changing their
Houston,
speed,
25 minutes,
their velocity.
45 seconds into the flight of Artemis II. We have confirmation that all 4 solar array wings are deployed and latched. This is the configuration needed to switch to ATO preferred, which you did hear confirmed from pilot Victor Glover. That mode has been switched. There's also a discussion with Capcom Stan Love and Commander Reed Wiseman about the alignment of the MET clocks on the Orion spacecraft and the ICPS. Commander Reed Wiseman confirmed the clocks are in sync, no issues, they're going to investigate it on the ground. We're proceeding with today's mission. 26 minutes of mission elapsed time and counting. This is Mission Control Houston. We're approaching 28 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. At this point, we've had a successful liftoff from the pad at 5:35 p.m. and 12 seconds p.m. Central Time, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. We've had a good main engine cutoff, core stage separation, and a good trajectory to begin today's mission. Right now, the spacecraft has maneuvered tail to sun. We're standing by for another maneuver to maneuver into the burn attitude. This is where the RL-10 engine of the ICPS is pointed in the correct orientation for the perigee raise maneuver. We did hear confirmation that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition has been confirmed per the pad, which means it was the predicted time prior to liftoff.
Integrity for GNC, we're taking channel 1 to unfiltered and to BFS.
Okay, Stan, we're watching. Go ahead.
Capcom Stan Love reading up to the crew of Integrity. They will switch the navigation source from channel 1, standing by for confirmation that that switch has occurred. Pilot Victor Glover will receive confirmation when, and as at least watching to confirm that switch has occurred. Again, the perigee raise maneuver that we're heading towards, not too long from now, we're actually inside 20 minutes at this time from the time of ignition of the perigee raise maneuver. We did have a successful deployment and launched of all 4 solar array wings. This is the configuration needed to commit to the perigee raise maneuver. Of course, flight controllers here in Mission Control Houston will continue to evaluate that everything is good before committing to that burn. The perigee raise maneuver does raise the perigee, the lowest point in the orbit, from 15 to 100 nautical miles. The 100 nautical mile mark is needed to continue in low Earth orbit and hit the target for the apogee raise burn. That will put them in a high Earth orbit for the remainder of the day and set them up for the right position to execute the translunar injection and head to the moon tomorrow. The burn duration of the perigee raise maneuver is 26 seconds. A relatively short burn, but it does raise the perigee and do the job to get into the correct position before firing that main engine on the ICPS. The pad had a TDRS handover. This is the tracking and data relay satellites. East to west, they are geosynchronous satellites that are positioned around the globe, and as Orion makes its way around the Earth right now, above the west coast of Africa, at an altitude of about 923 statute miles, and counting. The perigee raise maneuver is not executed at the perigee. It is rather executed on the, actually closer to the apogee. But what it does is it raises the perigee on the other end of the orbit to 100 nautical miles. The 26-second duration burn does not conflict with the time that they've reported of the tracking and data relay satellite handover from TDRS east to west. Again, geosynchronous satellites that are used not only by Integrity today, but the International Space Station as well. That time of handover is 51 minutes, 26 seconds. Plenty of margin before the perigee raise maneuver cutoff happens, and the trajectory is analyzed to see whether it was a good burn. A good burn means that the burn was performed as expected and sets the trajectory on course for that 100 nautical mile perigee target mark. Again, for those sticking with us on NASA Plus and following along on our coverage, we will continue to follow and to cover the mission until, well, actually, we'll continue to cover the mission 24/7. But we'll wrap up our coverage here shortly. And now that solar array wing deployment has occurred on NASA Plus and Amazon Prime. Again, we will continue coverage 24/7 at the NASA YouTube channel. For those that want to see all of the upcoming milestones, there are select times where we will be coming back to NASA Plus and other streaming platforms. You can go to nasa.gov to find the latest on when to find those activities. Given that this is an operational mission, we do want to make sure that we are maintaining transparency in the mission and providing you all the information on what's happening in space as Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen head on their mission around the moon. Inside Integrity at this time, again, the solar array wings have deployed. The Integrity is maneuvering to its burn attitude ahead of the execution of the perigee raise maneuver. Overseeing these steps is primarily done by Commander Reed Wiseman and Pilot Victor Glover. Mission Specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen focusing on some of the system activation inside of Orion, namely the environmental and control and life support systems. The activation and checkout of some of these critical systems are very important to continuing on the mission, making sure that those systems are in a good condition and in a reliable condition to provide the necessary environmental and control needs of the crew with humans on board through the duration of the mission that extends 10 flight days. Standing by for an update to the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition. Should be read up to the crew very shortly.
Integrity Houston, updated PRM numbers when you're ready to copy.
All right, Houston, we are ready to copy.
TIG is 2 seconds earlier at 4 9er minutes for 8 seconds. TIGO unchanged at 2.6 seconds.
49, 48, TIGO 26.
This is Mission Control Houston. With that update, we are approaching a little more than 13 minutes from the time of ignition of the perigee raise maneuver. That time updated to be 2 seconds earlier was 49 minutes, 50 seconds of mission elapsed time. We'll now move to 49 minutes, 48 seconds. The duration of the burn, that's what was referred to as the TGO, will still remain at 26 seconds, relatively short duration burn. Again, just raises the perigee of the orbit today. Making sure they hit the mark on that time of ignition is the primary concern of Commander Reed Wiseman and Pilot Victor Glover. Mission Specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen inside activating those environmental control and life support systems. At this time, all 4 crew members are wearing the launch and entry suits.
Integrity Houston, for Optimus on the PCD, we have time update instructions when you're ready.
And Houston, Integrity, we copy. Hands are pretty busy at this time. I think we will call you back when we're ready for that.
All right, that one is not urgent. 2 minutes to maneuver to PRM attitude.
We are watching and concurred. 90 seconds-ish, maybe.
Pilot Victor Glover confirming that maneuver less than 2 minutes. Again, that the point of that maneuver is to point the main engine of the ICPS, the RL-10 engine, in the proper orientation to execute that 26-second burn. It needs to point in the correct position to achieve the goal of raising the perigee to 100 nautical miles. You heard some of the environmental control system activations over Orion to Earth. Jeremy Hansen activated the O2 sensors. They'll be measuring the cabin of Orion. During all of the activations, here on the ground in Mission Control Houston, Flight Director Judd Freeling is doing a poll with all flight controllers in the room to see if we are in a go position to go ahead and execute the perigee raise maneuver. Once concluded, Stan Love will report it back up to the crew, and we'll stand by for that.
That weird discoloration in dark areas there, if you can see it on your monitor.
Houston, MCC polls go for PRM pending attitude and saws.
Hey, we copy. MCC is go. Maneuver starting.
Yeah, that weird discoloration is actually directly from the feed from NASA.
40 minutes of mission elapsed time. The maneuver to the burn attitude has begun. The maneuver also is paired with reorientation of the solar array wings that have been deployed. They will have various positions throughout the duration of the flight. Of course, solar array is meant to maximize the draw of power from the sun. So when deployed, we're in a biased solar array wing configuration that was called solar normal. This allows for the greatest surface area of the solar array wings to be drawing power and powering up those batteries of integrity, of which a cross tie was enabled between the four batteries, the four battery buses that are inside of Orion. However, for the perigee raise maneuver, the solar array wings will be put into a position to take on the loads imparted by the ICPS main engine when they execute the 26-second burn. You can see in the animation here, the solar array wings are in motion, and the attitude is being reconfigured to point the engine in the correct direction, those solar array wings being pointed forward. You're getting a live look inside the Artemis II mission flight control room. The team you see here oversaw the ascent of our four astronauts inside Integrity, launching at 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Now again, this room will be occupied 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with flight controllers shifting on 3 shifts to oversee 24/7 operations of Artemis II while in flight. We will cover that live on the NASA YouTube channel, and we'll be covering that around the clock as we begin to wrap up our coverage here on NASA Plus. Before I do want to send it over to our colleagues at the Kennedy Space Center. And to my colleagues, it was a pleasure to join the teams at the Kennedy Space Center and be a part of such a historic launch. Here in Houston, again, we're turning our attention to the mission. And for now, we'll say farewell and thank you to our colleagues there for today's launch coverage. We'll see you again soon for Splashdown. This is Mission Control Houston, sending it back over to Megan and Nicole at the host desk.
Thank you, Gary. And yes, it was such a pleasure to be a part of this historic mission that started right here at Kennedy Space Center. It was such an amazing sight to be a part of. And now, as Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen begin their journey, we here at the Kennedy Space Center are about to wrap our broadcast. We'll, of course, though, have 24/7 coverage with our colleagues at Johnson Space Center starting as soon as we sign off, so don't worry. You can follow along our 4 astronauts every minute of their nearly 10-day journey to the moon and back. Nicole, I'll definitely be watching it, and I'm sure you will, too.
Yes, of course. You know, they just started, right? The launch was beautiful. This was a historic day. They're on their way back to the moon for the first time in over half a century, but they've got a lot of work ahead of them, and so we're excited to see what they have to do and excited to test out the Orion spacecraft. This is a test flight after all, and we're excited to see what we can learn from this mission.
Very humbling, inspiring. It was really amazing to be a part of this, and I'm so glad that so many people joined along by either watching here in person or watching online. And of course, Nicole, thank you so much for sitting through this, answering questions, adding so much context and information that really brought a lot out of what we saw today.
Oh man, I had a blast. You're a rock star. You're a professional.
Gosh,
this was great.
Oh, you're great.
So this was a wonderful day.
Well, again, thank you so much, and thank you to you for watching at home. You know, tonight we didn't just launch a rocket, we launched the next chapter of human exploration. Our Artemis II crew now on their way back to the moon, and we're taking you with us. So thank you again for watching, and go Artemis II.
Now they're supposed to.
All 4 astronauts, and
No,
it
there they
appears
go,
all
okay.
of them are undergoing their suit leak checks. Yes, a pre-flight tradition that we have seen with our crewed flights, the card game. The astronauts who have just left crew suit up and are now walking down a hallway. And here they are, NASA's Artemis II crew, taking their first steps outside for their historic test flight. And the 4 of them step into their astrovan. And off they go. Oh, this must feel so special to the crew to see all of these people here. Watching the crew walk across the crew access arm, getting a beautiful view. Everybody configured with their suits, so in we go. And the closeout crew has closed the launch abort system hatch.
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition.
All right.
And
Well,
liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
all right. So looks like they got it going. So that's good. They didn't have any major mess ups there, so that's a good deal. So that's really good. I was curious. I was trying to figure out what because they did that burn for a really long time. You know, the perigee gain burn or whatever they called it. And if you looked at the telemetry data or whatever for the velocity, it wasn't really changing that much, even though they were burning, because they were gaining altitude rather than gaining velocity. So I was wondering if they, were feeling inside the spacecraft, if they were feeling acceleration when that was happening. I think they were, even though they weren't gaining velocity. They were moving away from the Earth. The Earth has gravity, so I think they were feeling acceleration there. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they were. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But they got it going, so that's good. I had lots of technical difficulties here. My computer broke a few days ago. I mean, broke, bad, So I had to put some spare parts in it, and I got parts. The whole thing is I had to get a new power supply for it and everything, and it's too big. The power supply that I borrowed it from another thing, another computer, and stuck it in this my streaming computer, but it's too big to fit in the computer itself. So yeah, big mess. Really big mess. So I got to get a new power supply or a new computer. That's what I'm trying to decide right now, if I'm going to get a new power supply or a new computer altogether, because this computer is just barely making it for streaming. In fact, I'm probably out of sync right now. Let me test that right now. Hang on just a second. I'm going to test my sync, because I didn't actually do that at the beginning. So let me try that right now. I'm going to test my sync. and see how that looks. Here we go. We'll do a clap here. All right, that that actually looked pretty good. It wasn't too bad, really. So we're gonna go with that. It seems like it's. And I wanted to test another thing. The problem with it, I think the reason why it broke, my computer broke, is because the power supply that was in there is 160 watts, and that's not good. That's not enough for a desktop computer, really. I've got all these things hooked up to it. I got the camera. I got, you know, a whole bunch of UPS stuff that's pulling current out of the thing, and I got my graphics tablet, which is kind of halfway on right now. It's not really. Let's see if that's working here. I want to see if that. I'm going to test this and see if this is actually working. So the power supply that I put in there is a little bit bigger. It's 250 watts, so that should be a little bit bigger. Shouldn't have any problem with that. Except I need it on the other computer, so I can't really. You know, after the stream, I'm gonna take my computer back apart and put the power supply back in the other computer. So it's kind of a mess. So I gotta see, you know, see how I can do that. I looked at the prices, and it's like $20-30 for a power supply, which I don't have. But I'd get the power supply, and then I'd be back to where I was, you know, with a computer that is barely good enough for streaming. So I think I might just. What I could do is not buy the power supply and just pull. I've got memory in this thing. And, you know, stuff that I could pull out of this and sell. You know, I could sell the motherboard and the memory and maybe, you know, other stuff out of this box here, this computer. And then use that money to buy a whole new computer that's faster than this one. And then I would be better off. So I gotta figure that out, see if I can do that. But let me see if I can make this doohickey work here. This is my paint program. Let's see if it's paint. There we go. Can you see that? Yeah. So let's see if this actually works here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna load. You can't see what's going on. I've got menus popping up here right now that I'm trying to load something that's. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Okay. So now I can. It seems to be that when I go all the way across the board here, it seems to go all the way across the screen, so that's good. That means I've got the thing calibrated okay. So now I'll pick opacity. Let's see. I think that's the right thing here. So let me see if I can write something here. Oh, look at that. Okay, good. It's working. All right. So let's I'll just for fun, I'll just diagram something here. Let's see, squares, circles. Here we go. Do a circle. All right. So there's the Earth. What's the same color? Well, the Earth is blue, I guess. Okay. And then. I wonder why that didn't come out white. Oh, I see what the problem is. You have to click or something? There we go. Click it. No. I'm going to hit enter. There we go. So there's Earth. And now we'll do the moon, which I guess I can do with this for the moon. Let's see. Here's the moon. Not to scale, not to scale. And then we'll hit enter that one, and then let's see if I can fill that with something. Hey, it filled both of them. Okay. That isn't exactly what I wanted to do. Alright, whatever. This is supposed to be Earth. I know what I'll do. Let me see if I can draw some stuff on here. Earth is supposed to be blue and green. So we'll do some green. This is Earth. And then we get blue. There we go. There we go. Okay. And the moon has to have pot marks on it. So let's see. That's got to be. Here we go. Let's get little marks on it. And there's the man and the moon. Okay. So. All right. So let's see if I can draw something else on here. So they took off from Earth. Oops, oh shit, it's not working. What's going on here? Why isn't it drawing now? Damn. Oh, I know what the problem is. Maybe I have to unselect, select none. Oh, I select none. Select all. No, that didn't work. God, this is so frustrating. This is just draw, you know. I'm telling it to draw, and it's not drawing. Oh, by the way, this is a test stream too, because I'm trying out this computer here to see if it'll work. All right. For some reason, it's stuck on that, and all right, now it's drawing. You know, it's like, what are you doing? But it won't draw here. That is so weird. Alright, I don't understand. Alright, doesn't matter. It works. It works. So I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, so I can close that off. And do you want to save changes? No. Alright, there we go. So, all right, so that seemed to work. This is kind of a test stream, and it worked. Let me check my sync here to see how that worked. If I'm still in sync after doing all that stuff. All right, that seems okay. And surprisingly, my after disconnecting the power supply and all that stuff, my computer is 0.009 different. The time is that accurate. Here, I can show you. Maybe I could show you here. If I go to time.gov, I'll show you what it shows here. Oh, it's still. No, that didn't work. try harder here. No, that's my, I know what I can do. Hang on, we get it. Yeah, hold on. There we go. Alright, so this is the thing for the time. And there's a little area on here where it tells you how far you are off on your clock. Let's see if I can get that in here. You see that? No, you can't see that. Why not? Jesus Christ, what is going on here, man? Let me try harder. There we go. You see this over here? On the right hand side? It shows how good my clock is, and it's really good. It's 0.129. Let me reload the page to see if it does a little bit better. Okay. Well, anyway, it's really close, which I was really surprised about, because the computer's been off, you know. I guess when I booted it back up again, it figured out what time it was. I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of cool. So, all right, what else did I need to test? I guess everything else is tested. Let's see. I want to do another stream. I want to do a stream on. Let's see. Oh, you know what I can do? I can do my core agenda. No, I'll do that later. I had something to follow up. A month ago or whatever, I did a stream about this drinking bird. Remember the drinking bird stream? No, you don't remember. I did a stream on drinking bird. And I was having technical problems during that stream, and it just distracted me, and I forgot a whole bunch of stuff. So I want to explain a little bit better on that. And I also want to get into what's going on with Iran, you know. Talk about uranium enrichment and stuff like that, just so everybody knows for sure that they're bullshitting us about why they're going to Iran, you know. So I can explain, you know, show you exactly, you know, what they're doing, what, you know, there's an international organization called the IAEA, International Atomic Energy Association, or something like that. IAEA, and they what they do is their function is to verify that all the countries are doing the right thing with their nuke stuff. You know, there are about 6-7 countries or whatever that have nuclear weapons, and then but almost every other country on the planet has nuke something. They got nuclear, you know, medicine. They got nuclear, you know, research reactors or whatever. You know, all the countries got it just about. And so this, you know, 1950s, early 60s, whatever they did a treaty called the Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, and they set up this organization, the IAEA, to monitor to make sure everybody's complying with what's going on with the treaty. And when you look it all up, it's, you know, Iran was pretty much following what they were supposed to do. So anyway, I'll do a whole stream on that, and I'll explain what uranium enrichment is, how they do it, you know, all this stuff, right? So we can figure out. I'll show you what's going on with that, just so we have all the details. Because no, I haven't seen any. You know, I don't watch mainstream media, which I assume doesn't cover it at all. But I watch even some niche stuff and some people who really get into it and stuff, and I haven't seen anybody get into it to that degree, you know, to really explain it. So, but the bottom line is that's not why they went into Iran. So, and I'll explain that. All right, so I guess that's it. I guess I'll wrap it up here. I guess what do I need to do here? I need to, well, you saw that. Okay, the NASA thing, that was the public domain, right? Obviously, that's a NASA. It's part of government created stuff is in the public domain. So that's what I did there. But let me. I guess I'll run my shit anyway here. Let me just a second here. I'll bring up my credit roll here. Credit roll. It's been almost a month since I did a stream here. All right, so let me type some stuff in here. Let me change my doohickey here so you can see what I'm doing, because I'm typing stuff in here. Document window. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Good. Okay. So we recorded this on April 1st. when I started the stream, I had it April 4th, so I fooled myself. And this is not about pregnant astronauts and drinking bird and all this stuff. This is what was this? To the moon, I think is what it was. To the moon. Artemis II launch, I think is what I called it, right? You know what I said? I said live, right? To the moon live. What's live in there? Live Artemis II launch. Okay. Let's see. Ran. I didn't really talk about that. Space. There we go. Space. Physics. Okay. Then I got a bunch of stuff in here, and I'll put down here. I'll say NASA TV or whatever. NASA live video feed in the public domain. Public domain. Right. All right, can you see all that? I think you can see all that, right? Am I doing that right? Those I didn't use. I don't think I used much of that stuff, but I put it out. That's my standard thing. Oh, and I should put in here all right, hang on just a second there. Sorry, wait. All right, get back to me again. So. Let me save this off because I don't want to erase that. I'll save it onto a file here somewhere so I don't lose it. There we go. All right. I'll bring it back up for you. There we go. And now I gotta say what it was. Showed a live feed of NASA's NASA's launch of Artemis II. Whoops, there's an R in there somewhere. Artemis II. And tested some stuff on my broken computer. Broke. How do you spell broke? Broken computer. All right, there we go. All right, so there it is. That's all my credits. You saw them all, right? You saw that real quick there. There's the credits for my stream, so I got that covered. And that's it. Okay, so I guess we're all done. Appreciate everybody coming, stopping by. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody here. I mean, miss anything in my Any messages or anything like that that I got to talk about? Oh, I did get a follower. Ronan Victor. Thank you for the follow. You followed me while I was doing my live stream. My last stream was a live stream on my, for my phone or whatever at the Kings, No Kings protest, and I couldn't. It's screwed up. I can't see chat or anything when I'm doing that. But something did pop up on the screen that said that he followed, but it popped up at a time when my stream was getting interrupted because we got shitty cell service here. So I don't think it actually went onto the stream that I thanked you. So thank you, Ron Victor, for the follow during my IRL stream there. All right, I guess we're all done. Thank you for coming, and I guess that's it. Bye.